Welcome to Raaonline. I'm Dr. Punita. I'm going to take the class about the front of the forearm. The main learning objectives, which is based on the competency, we have to describe and demonstrate the important muscle groups of the ventral forearm with their attachments, nerve supply and actions. And you should also identify and describe the origin, course, relations, branches, termination of important vessels and nerves that is present in front of the forearm. And also you should know about the anatomical basis of the carpal tunnel syndrome. Now we'll see what is forearm. The forearm is the distal unit of articulated skirt of an upper limb and it extends between the elbow and the wrist, and it contains two bones, the radius and ulna, which are joined by an interosseous membrane. The forearm plays a major role in assisting the shoulder to focus the power of movements and in placing the hand in correct position. Look at this picture. This is a picture showing the bones forming the forearm. This is the front of the forearm. You can see the two bones, the radius and the ulna. If you see here, the upper end of the head of the radius is in the upper end and you can see the head of the ulna in the lower end. And this is the interosseous membrane which is present between these two bones, the radius and the ulna. Now we'll see how the forearm is divided into compartment. We have two compartments. One is an anterior compartment of the forearm and the posterior compartment of the forearm. This picture shows the anterior compartment and both the posterior compartment of the forearm. This is the anterior compartment of the forearm. These muscles are fully covered by or it is wrapped by the deep fascia of the forearm. So what are the look at this muscles, every muscles, that is the 8 muscles that is present in the forearm, front of the forearm is totally covered or it is fully wrapped by the deep fascia of the forearm. You can see how the muscles are arranged here. This is the compartment of the forearm and this is again both the flexor and the extensor compartment of the forearm. Now we'll see what are the muscles or what are the components of the front of the forearm. We have the muscles, we have the nerves and we have the vessels. What are the muscles we have? Totally we have 8 flexor muscles which act on the elbow joint, wrist joint and the fingers. What are these? How these muscles origin? They have a common flexor origin which is from the front of the medial epicondyle and medial supracondylar ridge. And these 8 muscles are arranged in 3 layers. They are the superficial layer, intermediate layer and the deep layer. These are the 3 layers. And these muscles are otherwise known as flexor pronator group muscles. So, what are the muscles that constitute the superficial layer of the flexor compartment of the forearm? First muscle is the pronator teres, the flexor carpi radialis, palmaris longus, flexor carpi ulnaris. What is the muscle that is present in the intermediate layer is the flexor digitorum superficialis. And the deep layer muscles we have the flexor digitorum profundus, pronator quadratus and the flexor pollicis longus. Now we'll go back to the slide. Look at this picture. This is the picture showing the flexor pronator group muscles. Now you can see this is the medial epicondyle which is a common flexor origin. So we have the muscle, the first muscle, superficial muscle is the pronator teres and then we have the flexor carpi radialis, then we have palmaris longus and the flexor carpi ulnaris. As soon as you remove this superficial layer muscle or reflect it, you can see the intermediate layer muscle which is known as the flexor digitorum superficialis. This is the flexor digitorum superficialis. And next, the deeper muscles, we have the flexor digitorum profundus, flexor pollicis longus and look at this, you can see here the pronator quadratus. Even in this picture, you can see the pronator quadratus. So, these are the 8 muscles of the flexor compartment of the forearm. Now, we'll see what is the origin, insertion and action of these muscles. The first muscle is the pronator teres. The appearance of this muscle is fusiform and it is present in the lateral most of the superficial layer. And this muscle forms the medial boundary of the cubital fossa. And very important point is that the median nerve which passes between the humeral head and the ulnar head of the pronata teres. So, the origin of the pronata teres has two heads. One is the humeral head, another is an ulnar head. The humeral head, it takes origin from the lowest part of the supracondylar and the medial epicondyle, whereas the ulnar head, it takes origin from the medial side of the coronoid process. And where does it goes and inserted? It is inserted into the middle of the lateral surface of the shaft of the radius. So, it gets inserted to the maximum convexity of the shaft of the radius. And the nerve supply of this pronata teres muscle is median nerve. So, the median nerve passes between the two heads of the pronata teres, that is the humeral head and the ulnar head. Now, we will see what is action of this pronata teres muscle. Look at this picture. It shows this is a humeral head and this is the ulnar head, and it goes and attaches or it gets inserted into the maximum convexity of the radius bone, shaft of the radius. What is the action of this muscle? It is pronates the forearm and it is a weak flexor of the elbow joint.